Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is the first session of a 5-session series of Swoop Gangs, which is part of Star Wars Saturdays, an ongoing anthology campaign that I've been running for a few years now, where every month I choose a different RPG and either reskin it or reshape it or just plop it straight in so that we can gather together and tell a story set in the galaxy of Star Wars. The timeline that we're playing is post Return of the Jedi, meaning that Emperor Palpatine has fallen down a huge shaft, exploded in Death Star, that then later exploded. Therefore, he will never be coming back, obviously. We are perhaps a year and a half, 2 years after the end of Return of the Jedi. The New Republic is growing by leaps and bounds and attempting to wrest the last vestiges of Imperial control to free the galaxy. However, there is stolen from not canon anymore, but Legends information, an Imperial remnant known as Zenj's Empire under the auspice of a man who declared himself the warlord of the Empire, Zenj. And that is the place where we are playing. That's why I pointed out. And the setting for this, at least, will start off at Spaceport Trident Vespa, which I borrowed from a very cool supplement that you should check out on DriveThru RPG. Just search for Spaceport Trident Vespa. I love the art for it, and I've grown up some stuff around it. It's very fun. Spaceport Trident Vespa is located in the middle of an asteroid field protected by mines scattered among the rocks. There is a small Imperial presence here, so do beware. But there are a couple of verified space lanes so that merchant traffic can, if it needs to deliver or bring out people, traffic, freight to and from, they can travel to Spaceport Trident Vespa. It is not hidden away from the galaxy. However, it is not an incredibly popular spaceport for main commercial traffic. There is a healthy cottage industry of void vultures, people who scavenge and scuttle ships and shipwrecks, often those from a battlefield. And those void vultures do bring in quite a bit of scrap for resale and repurposing. And among Spaceport Trident Vespa's many businesses is a very nice, we will determine how nice, cantina, an as yet unnamed cantina, that is the front business for a swoop gang. The swoop gang is primarily our players. So let's go around the horn. Everyone has already made characters. It's a pretty quick and simple process with Swoop Gangs, which is a hack of 1%ers, a game from Creepy Doll Studios that I quite love. So let's start. We're going to start from the left, heading towards the right. So we end with the most high-ranking officer of our club. Stephen, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your character, I'd appreciate it.
Hi, my name's Steven, and my pronouns are he, him, and today I'm playing Cutter, or KT7R. KT7R started out as a pit droid, but doesn't like being reminded of that. He's modified himself. Oh, picture, yeah. He's modified himself so that he's slightly taller than a pit droid was, but still a little bit shorter than a human, and has a big chip on his shoulder about being, a servant or a silly little pit droid that's just doing repairs. He does have good skills at mechanics and repairing, swoop bikes and that kind of stuff. But boy, if you give him some guff about, get back in the pit and do your little robot droid thing, he might come unleashed on you. And because of the chip on his shoulder, he is the enforcer in the crew.
I love the idea of an upgraded pit droid, an uplifted pit droid in a way, becoming the enforcer for this gang. That is pretty great. Thank you so much, Stephen. How long has Cutter been at Spaceport Trident Vespa in your mind?
You mentioned at some point that maybe this is his home. Like, this is where he came from. You mentioned at some point that there was a spaceport with like pit droids in it. Maybe he worked his way up from that.
Oh my goodness.
So I
So
think
you left home and then changed so very much.
I think basically he bought his freedom. He found you said that there were vulture, what were they called?
Void vultures.
Void vultures. He found something that was worth quite a bit. As he was going through some repairs from these void vultures, and was able to buy his own freedom, and then was able to use some of their incoming and trade on it and upgrade it for his own upgrades.
Oh man, just like squirreled pieces back and slowly built. Just imagining like this montage of Cutter, the little pit droid, looking at the new body. Or does he just like, did he catch can and slowly upgrade over time, or did he just build a body and then move himself into it?
I think he slowly upgraded over time, so it's constantly being worked on.
Neat. That's really cool. Does the poncho hide areas that aren't fully upgraded, or does it just look cool?
I think the poncho is a throwback to basically his mentor, where he learned, about freedom and, that everyone deserves to be free and all of that. So that's why he wears it.
What happened to the mentor?
I think the mentor was a part of the gang and left the spaceport, like on business. Like, the gang is leaving and we're graduating to another place. And maybe they were run off. I don't know.
Interesting. We need to give a name to this mentor.
Okay.
That is just too interesting and juicy. So I'll let you think about that. And we will move on to speak to Danielle. If you could introduce yourself, tell us about your character.
Yes, I am playing Slide, or Kel, probably in the gang she's referred to that, who is Kelsana Sevic. And she is, I think she was a mining colony kid, like grew up adjacent and but always was at the spaceport at as much as she could be, because like there was racing, there was cool stuff. It's the only place you could do anything out here on this, Kark forsaken bunch of gravel. So I think she was out here, and then either, I'm not sure yet if it was a racing accident, if she was trying to race, or just adjacent to it, but there was like some sort of awful like incident she was caught up in that sort of like the injuries sort of would have disqualified her from going back and mining. Not that she wanted to, but had to get a bunch of mods done, essentially. Like, she's got the metal, I think this is like seams there, she's probably got some like internal stuff, some really expensive mods. So she was already kind of hovering on the edge of like getting into some underhanded stuff, and I think having to pay for all these expensive mods, really there was just no way that she could do that without whoever like modded her. Or maybe she ran into KT, who was like, hey, I know how you can earn some creds, you should join us. So but that's kind of like my explanation why she's part of the gang, but she just has one like hog for writing, because I don't think she has one, and she does write it, but I don't think she's the best at it per se. I think she probably is still a little bit wary of it, even though enjoys the culture of everything. So yeah. So she does a lot of the talking, the bookkeeping. Her skills are a lot of like seeing something cool, connecting people to things they need, and also unconnecting people with things that she wants or that the club wants.
Oh, yes, I see that. And you are the treasurer for the club. That is pretty great. A question, how, like on a percent, how much, maybe not percent, like maybe it's number of payments, like how close is she to done for paying for all these mods that she's had done?
I think, honestly, I think at this point, it's less that she is thinking like, ah, yes, you know, I am 60% of the way there, and more like the person that she's paying them to, she's pretty sure is like cooking the books, in the sense of like, I think she's beginning to think that like, maybe if I just arrange for a terrible accident to happen to this person, I will be done. Like the only way that she'll be done is if she like you know, makes them disappear, not necessarily send, maybe it's somebody else. But I think that like she would be on the back half of the payments, but I think it's just one of those trapped situations where it's like, I should be this much, whether or not that's true, you know. I've been a pretty reliable source of payment so far, so I don't think they're gonna let me out of this.
Okay, I think that's fantastic. I really, really like that answer. Great job. Cool. You mentioned you're an asteroid kid, so what about the family? Are they still on the asteroid, still doing the hard labor?
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, they died in a mining accident, but I like that there is probably a member of the family that's still like working, honestly, and you know, we see occasionally, perhaps. She probably has like, I think maybe mom and dad are gone, but there's an older brother who was the who kind of like kept on the family tradition, and is like, you know, worried about her, but also not involved enough to know the details.
Okay. So let me ask this question, and feel free to, we do have safety tools for the game. So, but I am really curious. You talked about her getting some stuff, and I've seen the golden pig on the picture for her. So does she look the same? Has her face been changed?
Ooh. I think that, I don't think this is a totally new face. I think that a lot of it is like internal.
Okay. Okay.
I think that there are some things, but I think she would still be recognizable to people.
Cool. Okay, good. That is awesome. As I asked Cutter to name the mentor, please name your older brother. You can think about that for a little bit. I am curious also, I imagine he is a Civic, so that is totally cool with me. And now we moved up the ranks, we moved from enforcer to treasurer. Now we go to Will. If you could introduce yourself, tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm playing, my name is Will, pronouns he, him, as are those of my character Hyper, real name Joel Amron. And Hyper is he's a racer. He's been a pod racer, he's been a pilot, but you know, like really what he came up on and what he knows best and where he's found his home is swoop racing. You know, he's at one with that loud, cantankerous bit of hover bike, speeder bike. You know, the louder, the more power, the better. He's flown the he may have stolen an Imperial speeder bike at some point. He doesn't believe in that sort of highly engineered, like high performance bike because you just don't feel it right. Like there's too many compensators and balancers and stabilizers and everything. What you need to do is strip all that out and get rid of all the mufflers and just cram more engine in there so it goes faster and harder. And yeah, Hypers, I think, ended up on Spaceport Trident Vesper, I think, on the race circuit at first, you know, like as a sort of punk kid, up and coming prodigy, you know, like imagine the Tatooine child labor swoop pod racing, where people die and they put 8-year-olds into the cockpit. I think that's kind of what Hyper
Now
grew
this
up
is
on, but
pod racing.
Now this is pod racing. It's extremely dangerous, and there's no parental oversight. But yeah, and Hyper's just really good at that stuff and really passionate about it. And he's fallen in with the gang because that's kind of like who his sort of running family's always been, has been these gangs of people with a shared interest. And he may be a bit of a nomad wandering around before he's wound up here on Trident Vesper. And I think the reason that he's sticking around on Trident Vesper is that, I don't think he's been there all that long. I think maybe, like probably around the same time as Side, maybe a little bit before joining up. Certainly not as long as Cutter, but he won relatively recently. There was a big race and he accidentally won the presidency of the club in a bet. And he is in no way responsible or equipped in any way to be the president of the club. But the rules are the rules, and you can only lose the presidency by dying or losing it in a race. And he's not going to throw a race, right? So
He's not going to throw a race, and he's definitely not planning on dying. So he's president for now.
President for now. Yeah, I mean, president for life is what he just said.
It's not like Hyper's going to take it. All right, no, Slide's going to take it away from you. Sorry.
Yeah. I feel like Slide likes this arrangement because she's like, listen, I'm in charge of like the money going in and out, which is the only thing that matters anyway. And Hyper's great for the face of the club, but like, what is his least favorite like duty that he has to do? Like, I'm trying to think of like what random thing, ceremonial or otherwise.
I think he just.
Great question.
Oh no, we lost you.
Oh, you asked you stymied Will with such a fantastic question.
He's so filled with hatred for this piece of bureaucracy.
Made him incredibly angry. Cool. When Will's internet agrees with him again, we'll get an answer from that. But let's continue moving through. It's a new laptop that he's working on. Not new, but like new to him. Let's talk about this. So one of the things in the earlier versions of Swoop Gangs was you had a front business, but it was just, I said you had a front business. And recently I was playing Nawal, which is an incredible game. I actually have the book. I'll show off the book because it's so great. Ooh, Nawal. Has nothing to do with biker gangs, but it does have to do with monster hunting gangs, angel monster hunting gangs. But in it, you own and operate a cantina. Hey, Will, who even knows what happened? Are you okay?
It just keeps closing. I mean, I borrowed this laptop and it just keeps randomly closing apps. I think it's trying to like install kind of like things from the central thing, but it's updated, it's installed. It's just
I'm sorry.
It's just infuriating because it doesn't like give me a warning or anything. It just closes instantly, But my answer to that is Hyper's least favorite thing is remembering all of the rules and all the things and being expected to know all of them. And anytime anyone's like, well, according to the club rules, and he just goes, yeah, and then looks over at Slide like, yeah.
She's like,
yeah, or shakes her head and he's like, you can't pull one over on me.
I love that.
That's great. That's a nice little 1-2 combo. Very fun. Love it. Cool. Thank you very much, Will. Anything else about Hyper you wanted to share with us in the intro here?
I think that Hyper comes from a family of sort of like nomadic sort of like spacers, basically. You know, like a cousin who's a smuggler, an uncle who runs a merchant ship, one maybe like a sister who went into the rebellion. You know, they're not very close, but like sort of, it's almost like some sort of destiny is that you always know that you're gonna meet a Ron's path's always gonna cross with another Ron at some point. You know, like the families always somehow seem to, in the whole galaxy, always wind up in the same cantina or crossing at the same point or whatever, right? Like people say that there's some kind of force that like binds us and ties us together, but yeah, Hype has never really believed in that.
It's awesome. Don't believe in
It's
that
just
mumbo jumbo.
secretly the chosen one.
Hmm.
Love it. That is awesome. Yes,
So
thank you for sharing that. That's so
I
good.
leave all of the family to be at your disposal, Rich.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
like however you want it to be.
Oh my gosh. It's like Christmas. Let's talk about the cantina. So I stole this from Nawal. No shame whatsoever. I only slightly modified it. It really is what Nawal did. Credit to Miguel Espinosa for making an awesome game. I just love the idea of a gang that has a front business. Then there are some mechanics to it. Because when you put mechanics to a thing, us gamers, we care about it a little bit more. So I'm very interested. This is play testing the front business rules for the cantina. So let me quickly talk about things about this cantina. Atmosphere is what your cantina lives and dies by. It keeps customers coming in for those watered down drinks and bad food. You tell me if it's bad. It's really up to you. At the beginning of the game, your atmosphere is at +1. You have a barback, bus, and tend roll at the beginning of the first session or when time passes. You'll check an expense box and roll 1 die plus your current atmosphere against a simple difficulty. If your roll succeeds, you add some profit, which you can use for the gang's benefit. And you choose one of these. On a failed roll, your cantina is at risk of being shut down. Bad plus publicity, overdue maintenance, legal trouble. You'll be working it out with me. I just realized that is, I shortened this little thing and you can't read the last little bit. It says GM. Cool. So we'll work that out. Among this, you will be choosing regulars. If none of these interest to you when it comes around to you, then let me know and you can make somebody or ask somebody else to make one. Expenses, that's your expense track. It represents the synthahol, groceries, materials used to keep the business moving. It's an abstract representation rather than an accurate count of stock and needs. When your expenses track is full and you need to check a box, instead, every PC in the gang loses a kark. Profit represents your surplus. When things go well, you can blow off steam by partying. The celebration roll, you can use to bribe people, pay debts due. To aid with any roll, you uncheck a profit and take it as 2 extra dice, if it makes sense that money would help you in this thing. And then the celebration move is here. If you're like, I can't remember what I would do in a cantina, there's a list of duties that have to be done. That said, I fully imagine that you have some NPCs who maybe aren't gang members, but are employees. We can work through that. But I think that the majority of the staff are members of the gang. Any questions about all the stuff I've just thrown at you? Cool. Hopefully it is pretty clear, and it will become even clearer once we hit a couple of the rolls. So now I'm going to start at the hardest thing. Does anyone have an inspiration or idea for a name for the cantina?
The lazy asteroid.
Ooh, that's cute.
That is, I like that. I like it being asteroid related too. Lazy asteroid.
Steven, thoughts?
I can't think of anything right now, and I went to my default, random name generator, and it's still coming up. So no, I don't. I like see the lazy. I like the lazy. I like it being related to asteroid.
Or
Womp Rats, which is I think a
Ooh.
hack of I can't remember if it's a hack of Maze Rats. That's right. A hack of Maze Rats actually has a cantina name generator, if that helps.
Oh,
I was just thinking something like grease dust or something like a asteroid, like a nasty asteroid off-gassing product.
the stinking asteroid.
Yeah.
I don't know why my finger is there. What's up with that?
The grimy rock, the
Yeah.
crusty rock. The scruffy, because it's a scruffy looking nerf herder, right? So scruffy is
Yeah.
the adjective that's used in Star Wars for such
Scruffy
things.
gravel. No.
Yeah.
I do like
Cool.
Or the asteroid strike, and it's built in
Ooh.
a crater.
ooh,
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is pretty dope. I think.
How about okay?
Hmm?
Here's another option. What about like combine some of these? The lazy crater.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or something about being off track like that, like not like the rogue crater or the
The broken orbit.
Broken Orbit is pretty dope.
Oh, I like that. If you want to do, or we could do
I mean, I
the
think I've thrown
lazy,
out like
the,
5 of these. So
the
you guys
lazy
choose.
orbit. How about the lazy orbit? Because
That's
that,
good too.
so we get both of those.
Lazy has definitely come up multiple times. So maybe you guys keep coming back to it, but for a reason. So shall we go with Lazy Orbit?
Yeah.
But
I
I
like Lazy
do like
Orbit.
the idea of the crater.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really inspired idea for some of the look of it. So we'll keep that in mind. Awesome.
It
Yes.
broke
you were
the
gonna say
last bar. It broke the last bar, and that's how we that's how we had more space for it.
If am I right in thinking that Spaceport Dredden Vesper's basically like a big rock in the middle of an asteroid field?
that's what I'm thinking. Yes.
Yeah. With like, hand waved atmosphere processors and stuff to keep
Yep.
some sort of place on. Cool.
Very LV 426 hand waved air processors. Yes.
The Merchant Guild is building better worlds, of course. Like,
Of course. Cool. All right. So what I'd like to do is save at least one regular for our 2 players who will be joining us next week. But if any of these regulars, or if you have a regular you'd like to pull in, please do so. Stephen, for Cutter, is there a particular regular that you are inspired by or think is interesting to have in the bar?
Ooh, I like I can't say the word. Akutagawa. Yeah, the third up from the bottom.
Yeah, an ex-pit fighter who never quit until his body did on him. Great. I like it. as I cannot help myself with Clatuinians, once someone pointed out that they are dogmen. All Clatuinians have, in my version, Star Wars-ized dog names. So Coco is the Clatuinian brute. Just explaining his name. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but there you go. Yeah.
I like that.
So Danielle, aka Slide, do you have any regulars that interest you?
And we can pick them from the spaceport folks too.
You can,
Or-
sure, for sure.
Well, but this is a great I kind of like having the stormtrooper with the drinking problem, like potentially an Imperial.
You like the Sarge? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Will, do you have a regular that interests you?
Just having a quick look at our other NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
Inquisitor Sabak, of course, the Sith Inquisitor. He's my best.
God,
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
Ooh. I'm kind of imagining us as like rivals to the Crickets, I guess.
I think so too.
Yeah, so I won't say red.
Red wouldn't step foot in here.
No. I think Onol Pashina, the Mon Calamari leader of a Void Vulture scavenger team.
Oh, he's definitely a great customer to have coming in often.
Yeah. And like I think that Hype is also like hype, right? He's got a big mouth, he talks a lot, but he's like one of those people who always like seems to really believe everything that he says, and convinces people. So can always convince someone to bet big on him, and then split the funds afterwards, right? Like.
All right. I think that's
Expending Void Vulture. ONOLPASHINA.
I did write it. Okay.
Did.
Yay me. Awesome.
Yeah. And just to Danielle's point that we're friends with anyone who has a big purse, I think that, that's probably the very practical side of it. Hyper, I don't think thinks about things enough to know that that's probably where his actual motivation comes from. He's just like, no, we're just really good buddies, and probably,
Adorable.
when the money runs out, he probably wouldn't be a really good buddy, but he'd never think about it too hard.
Yeah. Why would you think about such things too hard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, looking at time. This is, I like the friends with anyone who has a big purse. Last thing that I wanted to share is just to check in if we are cool with this as our map of the cantina, just so we have a sense of space. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right.
So what do we have here? Like on the right, these are all tables.
Yes. So these are booths.
Yeah.
And you've got a stage here because maybe you have live acts from time to time. You do have a competing club / cantina, Unmo's, which is famous, like known across the spaceport as having the best music acts. So I don't know if you want to try to intrude on his thing or not. Over here, you tell me if they're still active, but these are older holo dancer units. Then there's a holo vid unit that people can, if you want, they can make bets there, that kind of thing, on various swoop bike races in other sectors. The lavatories are over here. You don't have many, so there's probably usually a line during popular times. The serving bar here, the bartender station here. I will add a key, just kind of talking it over right now. This is the employee lavatory / changing room / storage room. I don't know. Let's see, 11. This is the emergency exit. The main entrance is right here. This is the emergency exit. Back room entry is back here. If you want to get into the back rooms, here's the back exit. Probably goes out to a hidden part of the crater in case you need to sneak people out. The manager's office or the president's office, I guess, if you want that hyper. And freezer storage number 15, and then number 16 is cold storage. And now again, we'll throw all this up in the Cantina thing. I just wanted to go over it with folks real quick. Awesome. Good. I will put that picture and some other stuff in the Cantina. But I won't do that right this minute because we're playing a game. Taking a look at time. Yes.
Take a break because I have to
you read my
feed the
mind.
doggo as well.
We've been going
so.
for a bit, so let's take a break. All right. Took a nice healthy break. Now we are going to start things off. Let's start off with the beginning of session Cantina move, barback, bus, and 10. At the beginning of the first session, or when time passes, you check an expense box. Guess what, President? That's a thing. That's the thing you get to do as the president.
I mean, I think it's definitely a thing that Hyper should be doing, but I think that in fiction, it makes more sense that actually it's the thing that Slide's doing as a treasurer. Yeah.
That's
I'm
treasurer. You are
checking a
tracking the
book.
expenses.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think the only
And-
time that Hyper ever does anything like that is when Slide nudges him and goes, "You're supposed to be doing this."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Expenses are checked by the treasurer. There. Then you check one expense box and roll one die plus your current atmosphere against a simple difficulty, meaning you need 1, 4, 5, or 6. Who, President, do you designate to roll 2 dice for the fortunes of? I don't know who you're pointing to.
Slide.
Slide.
Okay. Ooh, that I approve of that choice narratively. As a player, I don't know how much we want my dice luck involved with this. But, all right. So this is so do I check the box on atmosphere? Do we add it so it's 2?
It's already, you start at 1.
Okay.
You start at 1, and then narratively you guys can increase atmosphere by focusing on the lazy orbit.
Ooh.
But for
okay.
now, you'll just roll 1 die plus your number of atmosphere. You're rolling 2 dice, looking for 4, 5s, or 6s. As long as you get 1 success, then things are good and you get some profit.
Okay, so 2d6 plus 1?
Nope, just 2d6.
Just 2d6. Nice. Oh, okay, right, because it's a number of dice
Right,
instead
number
of
of dice.
roll. Ooh, 9?
You got a 6 and a 3, 1 success.
Oh.
So you're looking for the actual value on
Actual-
each individual die. You're looking for a 4, 5, or 6. Sorry, I was very unclear with that target. The targets
Yeah.
are the numbers of dice that come up as 4, 5, or 6 are a success. The good news for you is that you, if your roll succeeds, you add 1 profit. So as a treasurer, if you want to add 1 profit, you're going to need to add, you do check an expense and a profit as well because of the successful roll. And then
Okay.
I think maybe we'll let, since everybody's been involved, some delegating, some actually doing the work. Cutter, you get to choose one. A new, more popular cantina just opened. There's been a scandal or someone got too rowdy. Reduce your atmosphere by 1. The Empire or local authorities come knocking on your door asking questions. Your rivals are causing some trouble you need to deal with now. Which of those are true?
I think I'm going to combine a few. I'm going to say there was a scandal at our rival cantina, and they're mad at us. I think we scooped one of their shows. If that makes sense.
I love it. So you scooped a show. Is this like a local who is starting to become popular? Is it a traveling group that you guys reached out and they didn't know the Umos was the place where people are supposed to play? What do you think?
It's Max Rebo, right? We got Max
Max-
Rebo.
Is Max
and,
still alive?
like,
I mean, do we know?
I don't know. Well, someone claimed Max Rebo came to our club, right? People certainly bought tickets for him. And
Ooh, it's a Max Rebo cover band.
mm,
Oh my god!
Yeah, yeah.
and I think that was
And
definitely a case of us Max, right, at the spaceport, and like they arrived like 5 minutes later with the limo to pick him up, and we were like, yeah, Swoop Bikes, that's how we travel around here. It's fine, don't worry about it.
I believe you're comboing some things, Cutter. What else is there complication here?
oh no, I think that was it. It was the scandal was that we took over their show, and they're mad about it, so they're coming after us for it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay. So so we're clear on who the rivals are. The rivals are Unmo Zitobu, who is a Rhodian. He's the owner of Unmo's, and he actually makes pretty great drinks. Huge music fan. I think in his office slide, you've seen that he has a hollow poster of Max Rebo. It's the fact that you snaked Max Rebo, who he didn't even know was coming, is great and also terrible.
I mean, based upon the description of Spaceport, Trident, Vesper, right? Like, I would say that purely the only reason that any musicians come here is because Unmo makes it happen, right? That like he makes it worth their while to make Spaceport, Trident, Vesper like their stopping point upon their travels around the galaxy. Because otherwise, why would you come to a spaceport when you could be playing Coruscant or Corellia, right? But like you got to get to those places, and if you go past Spaceport, Trident, Vesper, then Unmo Zatoa makes it worth your while. And in this case, he doesn't. Because we steal your band from you and we pay you in Synthol.
Yeah, so I think Max Rebo was coming here to play at Unmo's, but his agent set that up. Is Max was it like a one, do you guys imagining, I'll ask Slide this one, was this a one night only type deal, or have you guys done something to keep him here a little bit longer?
I think we normally do one night only, but I think we are invested, like if we let him leave, then he's gonna get in touch with Unmo and they're gonna, like, I don't know, have some sort of complication. So I think we've done our best to extend it for like 2 days or like the weekend, but it's almost more of like a hostage situation vibe. I feel like than we have bribed you to do that. It's like, oh no, you don't need to see anything else out at this spaceport when we are sending this food to your room. This is fantastic.
All right, this is delightful. Max Rebo, by the way, is an Ortolan who survived a near-death experience on Tatooine and decided to go on tour. There's Max Rebo.
Oh.
He's lovely.
Max Rebo in canon, I think, is definitely still alive post Jabba's palace falling into the desert.
Yes, that is true. In fact, Max Rebo, or at least someone looking a lot like Max Rebo, was in Book of Boba Fett. So that's why I said survived near-death. He survived 2 near-death experiences. But actually, Book of Boba Fett is Mandalorian timeline, which is, so it doesn't matter. He survived near-death experience with Jabba. There we go. Yeah, nice. I'm gonna stick that picture down in the So this is actual Max Rebo, not cover band. Is that what we're going with?
We're going to decide that ortolans have a life expectancy that's just possibly unknown, I guess.
I mean, I'm good for the real Max Rebo, right? Like,
Okay.
let's just not get him killed. And cause a space-time continuum.
For the for the sake of canon of a TV show that I generally like, we'll say Max Rebo is. We will X card any loss of Max Rebo. Speaking of which, we do have lines and veils and ask first items, but an X card on top of that. Folks have chosen a number of things that we have a line on, means we're not interested in having that fiction. A veil on, which means we're okay if it exists, but we'll quickly cut away from it, not shine a spotlight. And then ask first, which means it's situational. We'll talk about it before we drop it into the fiction. The X card rides on top of that, meaning I didn't realize I'd have to line this, but right now it really bothers me, and we will X card it. I won't challenge you on it. You don't have to explain yourself or defend yourself in any way. I may ask a question just so I can understand how best to excise it from our fiction, but that's it. That's the only kind of question that I would ask. And I want to know, we're gonna do Cantina stuff for our remaining 45 minutes or so, because there's a playtest for that. We've got 3 folks, and who knows, maybe you leave the Cantina. I'm not your boss. I'm not the boss of you. I'm not the president. I didn't beat Hyper in a race. So when Onal Fashina, what are we going to say? Onal? Or we're going to say Onal? What do we want to say for that name? Because I grabbed it and I didn't really internalize how it would be pronounced. Our Monkal, who is a big fish when he comes back from void vulturing, he you guys are in the bar when he's drinking some soup that your cook has created, and he finds a womp rat's tail in it and wildly freaks out. So Slide, you know that he's going to ask to talk to your president about this. He's a little upset. Maybe you've caught wind of this before it's really started to circle throughout the crowd. But your big fish has just been served a womp rat tail in his soup. What do you do?
I think she probably looks around, tries to make eye contact with Hyper wherever he is, to just like be like, I'm gonna go fix this, but also like be aware. Kind of like make contact there. Yeah, he's probably having a good time. Yeah, and then she goes over to Anal and is like, Anal, I'm so sorry. Listen, this is a.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
Did you see this?
You know,
I did not ask for womp rats.
So,
Womp rats have diseases.
One of the spacers, it's like one of these newfangled condiments. He said it's like adds more spice. What's his
Throws
umami?
it on the table.
Umami,
Stands up.
Anal.
I don't want some spacer's joke. Are you laughing at me?
No, it's like like with the fancy food, they're really into
Since when does Orbit do fancy food?
we gotta. I'm so sorry. It was a new menu idea. I thought that because you're a man of culture who comes here, we could try it on you, and you would enjoy that. That's on me. You should. I'll just get you your regular. Then if you
Okay.
don't want this,
Let's see if that taking a little bit of ownership, maybe he'll listen to you. Let's see if you can.
we do
save
tapas
this.
now.
Impress the table. I love these little bits from Hyper. Okay, so you are using your jaw. Right?
Yeah.
You're trying to talk your way out of a thing. I think you're being cool. Violence isn't on the line. You're trying to keep things cool. So I'm okay if you're being cool here, unless you felt like you're being a badass.
No, she's trying to play it cool.
Okay. Do you have any expertises that feel like they fit here?
I'm not. No, I'm just lying. So
Yep.
I am not blackmailing or anything like that.
This is hard. So you are going to need 3 successes. So 3 different dice are going to have to roll 4, 5, or 6. Luckily, this is your wheelhouse. So you have 3 dice from being cool and 3 dice from jaw. You're rolling 6 dice. You need to be successful on half of them. However, before you do that, do you want to spend any of your own karks, your mini karks? You roll better, as good as or better than anyone else. Do you want to spend any of those to give yourself extra dice?
I will definitely spend one of them at least.
Okay. I think that's
Just because this is our best customer and I want him to feel like taken care of.
all right. Manal's faith in you is on the line. Roll 7d6. You're looking for 4s, 5s, or 6s. It's 4 successes, I see. Fantastic. So with 4 successes, you've beat that threshold with a little extra. And Onal's, I don't know if I want soup tonight. Just, do you have any leftover? I don't know, the meat from last night. Do you have any leftover? That just throw it into a sandwich or something.
Okay. Yeah, you got it and all. Listen, I'll make sure I clear it with you, okay? Before they start experimenting back there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go get you that bantha cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
A little extra cheese, maybe. Get the taste of the womp rat out of my mouth.
You know what? I'm gonna beat that guy's ass the next time I see him. Thank you. Yeah, so she heads back and and doesn't have to call in anyone. She was ready to call someone, but heads back to the kitchen and on her way nudges Hyper like, we got to look into the chef again, okay?
Oh, the chef? We have a chef?
Like, you know what? Never mind. Have a good time. Go say hi to Anil. Okay, he's feeling a little antsy tonight. Okay.
Oh, sure. I'll have a warm cheesesteak slide.
Will do.
So, Cutter, as all of this mess is going on, what are you up to?
So I think I've appointed myself as kind of the bouncer, the
Okay,
enforcer
that
there
makes
at the
sense.
door, waiting for, people to come in. And I think whenever the ruckus starts to happen, I hear people start to yell, I kind of close the front door to lock it and head in that direction just in case I need to rough somebody up. And whenever, I see that Slide has it all kind of handled, I go back and I unlock the door and I open it up.
Cool. So just you're saying the front entry, like you close down the front entry? Okay.
Because
cool.
I don't want people coming in while I'm not there. This could just be a distraction.
Nice. Good call. So you do that, you take care of locking the front door, wait a moment or two. Slide looks like she's got it handled. Hyper is working with her to make this bantha cheesesteak. And when you unlock the door, you see maybe he like hung out near one of the booths near the front entrance, but you see a young Rhodian. Looks like he's trying to just slide out. Now that you've opened the door, he's trying to get out of here. He doesn't look like a regular, probably shouldn't have been served here. What do you do?
Oh, I think as he tries to slide out the front door, I kind of grab him by the scruff of the neck and I say, "Where are you going?"
What? I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Womp rat tail, it's terrible.
How'd you get in here?
It's a free spaceport.
Yeah. We'll talk to the authorities about it. By authorities, I mean, my fist. So I gonna, drag him back in, and I'm like, okay, so you got to give up. I didn't see you come in here, so kind of toss him down in a booth,
Nice.
Like,
All right. So you
bang on the
toss him in a
table.
booth. He's
Yeah.
he's scrawny. He's like maybe 14, 15 years old. So he hasn't grown into his eventual size. He's just a little lanky.
Yeah.
And he says, well, it was just I just walked in and yeah. He's lying.
Yeah. And
Either he snuck in here where you're the enforcer, so that seems like you're not doing your job, or someone let him in.
and again, not doing my job. And huh. I'm like, I look over. Can I tell which booth he came from?
What booth he came from? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he had basically slipped his way around to the booth right near the entryway. Like he was trying to get out of there, and then you moved in front of him, closed the door, and so he just hung tight by himself in that one. Because who wants the booth right by the door? Like the wind comes in, you can hear all the sound outside. It's terrible.
So I think I'm gonna, pick him up and kind of turn him around and pat him down to make sure he's not taking anything. I look over at the booth while I'm doing this to make sure, see, had he been served? Was he getting, food? Was he getting drink? What was going on?
Yeah. It
Just kind
doesn't
of
look
assess
like
the
he was a
situation.
customer. It doesn't he has a comm unit on him, no weapons of any kind, and probably like a little bit of some credits. But that's about it that you find on him. He's trying to figure out if he wants to like cry that he's being, beaten up by a droid or not, but you can see him doing the mental math because you are kind of well known as the bouncer here.
So I think I click on the communicator when I pull it out of his pocket. I turn it on and kind of force some feedback like you would with a mic.
Oh, nice. Not
but
even
I'm
a die
looking to
roll.
see-
That's great.
But all I'm looking for is I'm looking to see if that feedback comes from someone within the cantina.
Oh,
See
cool.
if he's got a contact
so
here. Yeah.
you whee, and you don't hear that across the cantina. But then you hear on the other side, once you stop the feedback, you hear a voice say, Dodo, is it done?
Yeah. So I pick him up, so he's off the ground. His feet are kind of dangling off the
Yeah,
ground.
he's trying to reach for his. I
Yeah,
should take
yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
my mom.
Yep, not done yet. Why don't you come on in?
Ooh, are you trying to mimic?
No.
You're just
Not
saying.
at all.
You're
Just
just saying. Yeah,
you
not
need to
done
come
yet.
in. Yeah.
There's no response.
Yeah. So I look up at the kid and I'm like, I think they bailed on you. What are you gonna do now? You gonna roll over, or do we have to break some bones before you roll over?
Oh, nice. I think by this point, Sarge.
Whoa. Cutter,
I
Cutter,
to do a thing.
Cutter, what are what are you doing to our newest, customer here?
I'm doing my job, and I'm like, I think they were trying to hit us. I'm like,
No.
so
Is this yours, kid?
No. Ooh, that's gross.
No, really. 'Cause, I
Womp
mean, if it,
tail. Ugh. Why do you guys
whoa,
serve
whoa,
that?
whoa,
He's
whoa.
looking around like trying to see if other people hear that.
Womp rat tail? Huh, as if. Listen, kid, do you know who you're talking with there? That's Cutter. It's not just a name.
What
Like
else is it?
I really want to look. Well, do you want to find out? I don't want to find out. Do you? Like look, and I put one arm around him. Like leaning and pulling close. I'm like, look, you remind me a lot of myself. What was it again?
Dodo.
Yeah, Toto, right? Toto, you remind me a lot of myself. Okay, I see big things for you. Ambition, drive, clearly a man of taste. Why throw all that away to have your arms ripped off by a pit droid?
Ooh, I think you are definitely being badass here.
Yeah.
And trying to intimidate him. Yeah.
I think I'm kind of being compassionate as well at the same time, right?
with
Like,
this
'cause it-
hardest edge.
Well, I'm not like
This
I'm actually
approach, you're
like
good copying this one.
I'm good copying it. Yeah, it's like Cutter's the one who's doing the bad cop. I'm doing that like, listen, I'm here for you, buddy, but you got to help me help you because otherwise, like, I can't stop him.
Okay.
You know, look at him. Because
I'm gonna say that we'll call this hard as well. You'll need 3 successes, but you of course can get some help. The person who's sitting right by you.
yeah,
holding
would
him.
that be? I think it's cool, right?
I think
Oh,
so. I think it's
yeah,
cool, and you've made your case for being semi-compassionate, so we'll call it heart. I'm okay with that.
Okay,
And-
so that's
And
4
I can toss a
dice.
kark in.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll toss a kark your way.
5 carks. Okay. Can you spend carks after the roll? No,
You cannot.
no. So I'll spend a cark because I've got carks, right? And they refresh every session, right? We'll probably be getting more.
They're
than-
easily refreshed with
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll
they're
spend
easily
2.
refreshed.
I'll spend 2 because why not? You know, why save resources?
Exactly. Squirrel those away
Ah.
for what?
Does feel like a hyper thought.
Exactly.
Ooh.
4
1,
6s, which you know, is like
Wow.
super crit, right? Like,
It's a super crazy. He ducks his head down because please don't rip off my arms. My cousin made me do it. I'm sorry. He's really mad about the whole mixed rebo thing, and he wants to ruin you guys. And I don't even want to. Listen, I just I'm sorry.
whoa, it's Dodo, Dodo.
Well, whatever you want. Just don't
Okay.
rip off my arms.
Okay, but listen, it's fine. I mean, look, he's quite small. It probably would have just been like from the forearm down. Doesn't quite have the leverage of a Wookiee. Sorry, Cutter.
Not really better.
Yeah, well, it's for every die result of a 4 or 5. It's an ace. The more okay, cool. Sorry, I was just reading the rules for the thing to be like, is there a mechanical benefit to rolling like 5 6s? But no, it's just things get even better than they would be otherwise, right? So like
Right,
he's
yeah.
terrified of and like listen, why don't you sit down? We'll have a nice bowl of hot classic Tatooine soup, Tatooine stew. Do you know? Tuscan delicacy. That's what I heard.
No one press though, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Uh,
I think I'm allergic.
you think?
Yes.
Sure. Well, and he thinks, well, we'll find out one way or the other. If you only think, maybe you're not. And why don't you just, like, I get your cousin. Family's family. I've got a cousin too. She once had me like, I tell you, like the Huts, they were not pleased. Okay, but the difference between me and you is I ran faster. Okay, you're slow, Toto. Okay, so now we've got you. You know how this works, right? You
Turn
sit
me into
down.
spaceport security?
No, you sit. We have a nice chat, and we come up with some sort of, way that we can make things right with your cousin. He's pretty pissed about this Max Rebo thing.
He worked real hard to get Max Rebo in. You guys just snaked it away from me. You won't stop talking about it.
We were just being friendly, weren't we, Cutter? I mean, like, he needed a lift from the spaceport, right? And we took him back here just for a little while, and he played a gig. It was all fine, right?
Of course.
Yeah. No one's forced to do anything they don't want here. That'd be wrong. We're not the Empire. We're not your cousin.
So we cut the slide.
Yeah.
You are handing off the bantha cheesesteak. Unal takes a bite of it. And it's his this little Moncall mouth, chews it a little bit, says, "Oh, this is a good stuff. Even a day old."
Only the best. Only the best for you. And also big job. You just got back in?
Yeah, some rough stuff on the border. Yeah,
Oh,
it's too
really?
bad though. The New Republic not too smart. They lost a lot, but hey, they lost my game.
Oh, yeah. You hate to see him do well, but at least someone's using the parts, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I got some some Y wings, and there's even an A wing, but it got pretty messed up. So it's mostly just little bits of scrap. But some of the smaller pieces definitely be real good. Kind of peers at you for a second, tilts his head. He does that thing, because his eyes are. This is who knows? Maybe something you could use.
They trying to give me a fit it out with some rockets, make me a little faster, huh?
I don't want you to be too fast. I've seen how you ride your swoop bike there.
Listen, if they were meant to be safe, they wouldn't have so many engines on them, I guess. Yeah, is this something out of character? Is there like something that we are looking for as a swoop gang? Like, I guess Hyper's always looking for like better engines and stuff. Is there something that Cutter is like has a hankering for mechanics wise or something?
Usually it's not mechanics or anything. We'll find what we can. I always look to you to find the thing that's worth the most, right? You know how to trade things and, get what's best for the gang.
Okay.
That we can flip it. Yeah.
We're always
Yeah.
hustling, right? We're petty criminals who are always on the lookout for stealing things, selling things, and boosting things. And we have a predilection towards our swoop bikes.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like the A-wing, just remembering the X-wing games, it's like the A-wing's fast, man. It's faster than a TIE Interceptor. It's fast.
It's very
yeah.
fast.
Yeah. So I think she's like, yeah, anything you're looking to sell to anyone in particular?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't really want you crashing into anything. I like having you around. You pat
Yeah.
your forearm in a awkward gesture. But this A-wing, it's not like you could easily reconstruct the engine, but the manifold and the intakes, they're still good.
Really? We haven't seen one of those around here in a minute. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we could totally take that off your hands for you. Is there what you
How about this? Maybe we partner up a little bit. You guys see if you can retrofit some of the pieces that are missing. I move it, and I give you, pay you the creds for the work. That's a very lowball offer.
oh, come on, and all you. I'm so brokenhearted. What are we, a mechanic shop? Listen, we can do better than that. How about what, you just need the parts? How about we keep one of those engines and we find you a good one, put it in, make it look nice so you can sell it, get the same price for it, but we get a few of those juicy parts, yeah?
Cool. Give me a we'll say you're inclined, we'll call this a normal roll. You've made things a little easier by smoothing things over, but go ahead and build your roll.
Okay. I feel like I'm trying to keep things cool.
I think so.
Okay. And I feel like I'm trying to talk him into something.
For sure.
And we're talking about smuggling, right?
Oh, you sure are. You're talking the
Yeah.
smuggle game. So that'll get you another die. You're rolling 7 dice.
Okay.
You want to spend any carts? You just need 2 successes.
Ooh, yes. We got 3. Yeah. Basically, we can make it look like an A-wing, but it's not going to drive off the lot the right way. we can make it drive off the lot, and then it's not gonna. Yeah, so 3 6s. Woo!
Wow. That is fantastic. So you needed 2 successes. You got 4 total successes. He says, I don't think there's enough parts to really build a whole A-wing. It's really about recreating that engine, but the tech behind that thing could be really pretty. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
I mean, what are they going to use it for anyway? Who you selling it to? Could be just some spaces hobby. Who knows?
It's my piece. You're doing the work. You're going to have to retrofit 50-50. It's a good deal.
She definitely like holds out a hand to like shake it.
He grabs it with that weird kind of clawish appendage that Moncalls have.
Yeah.
We cut back to Dodo and Unmo's cousin. You have him like properly intimidated. He has fessed up that he was doing this because his cousin is angry. He's at your mercy. What do you wish to do?
What was he going to do?
He's the one who dropped the womp rat tail, and he's supposed to do that, make sure it got around, and then spread the word.
Oh, okay. So we didn't actually have womp rat soup. Okay. Well, actually, I think that probably we did have womp rat soup, but we didn't tell anyone that, and we'd certainly cut the parts small enough that no one knew that it was womp rat. Which is why we're like, oh god, how did the tail get in there? It's supposed to be finer. Like, So where did you get the womp rat from, Dodo? Does Onal have like a store of them?
No, we got a little taser rifle, in case there are any that come around. There's this place where me and my friends we go, and there's a lot of them. So we, and then Uma was mad, and I thought, well, this is a thing. I could do womp rat tail. So what? I just had a few. So there you go. Just snip, and then came in here. It's just snuck into.
Yeah.
Boss, they can't mess with us like that. We got to show them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it seems such a shame, really, to. Hey, would you like to meet Max Rebo, Dodo?
Would I? Yeah. I love Max Rebo.
Great. And what I'm gonna push him into the room with Max Rebo, and I say, Max.
So Max Rebo's on site. That's great. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Max Rebo's in like the back room, right? Like,
is he in your office?
Yeah, he's in my office. Yeah, he's in my
office?
office. Yeah, I think he's in my office. And I think he's got like, maybe like a Twi'lek lounging around with him with a
of course.
bottle of synthahol and some like substances. Max Rebo is basically like, we're mollifying him by essentially keeping him distracted while he's here, right? Like, he's going to play later on.
Is this a Twi'lek who like is a server here that you said, hey, go keep Max Rebo happy? Or did you hire somebody off the street who's a professional keeping people happy kind of person? What do you think?
I quite like the idea of it being someone who's maybe not our direct employee, but is like someone that we could bring in, like who's like friendly with us.
We have contacts with people.
Yeah. So I like the idea of it.
I like the idea that possibly part of that motivation was like, because every time I see Max Rebo, he is ensconced in his round keyboard, that maybe if someone is in there, they could just sort of like lie on top of him / restrain him, like to lower the mobility is like part of that motivation.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So
the other big motivation was that the puppet doesn't have legs, right? So we have to make sure that it's screened from the table down.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Sweet. So this Twi'lek, she is keeping him occupied, and while he doesn't have the huge organ, I know there's a name for it, but I can't remember it. I think he's got like a little baby keyboard thing, and he's sharing headphones with the Twi'lek. So she's got one pressed against her ear cone, and he's got one against his ear, and he's playing this like little bit. Been working on this little and
yeah. I'm wanting Max Rebo to look like like been awake for like 24 hours on spice and things, and we're just totally just like, yeah, buddy, here, Oh, you want to? Don't worry, your lift to the space boat will be coming any sec. Do you want some more? You know, like, oh well, you just missed it. Sorry.
Really
Like,
shouldn't I?
yeah.
That's awesome.
And I want to.
Kind of
Ki-
imagine he's like a little Cheech and Chongish is kind of my mental vibe for
Yeah,
like
that's definitely how
Freebo.
he was in the comics, the Dark Horse comics. I want to kick him in there, kick Dodo in there, and get him to this. And I'm going to look at Cutter and say, like, with the comm that we took off, and I'm like, hey, so you know that thing you were doing with the feedback? Do you think you could rig this so that next time Onal, you know, when Onal like has his next gig, right? Like we create a feedback loop with the comm, and you know, he can have Max Rebo made back. You know, I think we've maybe only got like 2 more days of it before the spice runs out anyways. But yeah, he can have like, you know, the leftovers, right? And then of course his cousin's gonna be there, and his cousin's gonna have this in his pocket, and it's gonna make a feedback, and it's gonna ruin Ono's, you know. I mean, just think,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, sure, boss. I mean, I was just gonna go smash in their windows with a rock, but okay, that sounds great.
Oh yeah,
I
we'll
think
do that.
that's much better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Ono, it's kind of, if it was the crickets, yeah, but Ono, I mean, he does make a good drink, you know? Like, I don't want to get heavy with Ono unless like Ono tries to get heavy with us, and you know, this is. I look at the limp womp rat that's like lying on the floor, like you know, it's probably thrown uh by Ono. Sorry, I'm using the wrong person's name here.
I was gonna
Ono,
jump in, but yes,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
It's my fault for having too many O names. Sorry. It's
yeah.
Unmo is the
Unmo.
Unmo.
Yeah, I'm going to call Onal Pashina instead. So it's so Pashina's thrown that one brat's tail like, and it's slapped against the wall and slid down right like in soup. And I'm going to look at it and go like, I mean, that's kind of, you know, like baby stuff, right? So, you know, I, let, you know, let's not escalate things for now, right, Cutter? If they line up with the crickets, then maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be too bad if we, you know, if we hit back against the people who like came after us. But okay, so I
I
take
mean,
the
they
comm
came
unit and I
they
kind of
came
go.
after us as a one prat tail. I know, like maybe it's a droid thing, but you know, like this is what we'd call like a prank more than anything else.
Yeah, okay.
Rich is like doing math of which is worse. It's very interesting. I love this relation between Hyper and Cutter. Now, this is a perfect setup for a refresh scene. Refresh scenes allow you to regain karks. I will direct you to, I have a link to the rules, and refresh is actually near the very end of the rules. Sorry, I decided to open it fresh. So regaining karks. So there are 3 ways. You can do charity work. You can serve out some duracrete justice. Neither of those feel like they apply here. Or you can have bonding scenes. So to restore karks, you spend time with another gang member. If you share a scene during which the bonds of the group are strengthened, then 5 karks are awarded. You divvy up who gets how many karks. It's not, I decided instead of you having to roll dice or whatever, I just do the thing I stole from Night Witches. It's 5, which means if there are 2 people, there's 3 and 2, or 4 and 1, or 5 and 0. I don't care. But it's up to you. And do you feel like that? Like, is there any more you guys wanted to do bonding wise? Like, you do a good job, or this is why I've got you here.
Oh, I mean, like I don't even feel like that's a bonding thing because I think that
I felt like you were on the doorstep of it, and so I
Yeah.
wanted to prompt with those
Yeah,
rules.
yeah.
I wanted to fold it over to that way.
So I'm
But you
gonna
don't have
say,
to.
you know, I guess that's why you're better at gambling, just because, you know, I would have just messed them up, but I like the idea of making them look bad. You know, you make them look bad. I was just gonna knock in their door.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's always, their door's still there, right? We can always knock it down afterwards, but you know, like sometimes it's better to spray paint the door than it is to knock it down. The spray paint all the time.
Yeah. Make them look bad and, they're not good at what they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're great at what you do, Cutter. I mean, that kid did get in, but yeah, you're great at what you do. And like honestly, I can't think of a better, meaner pit droid than I've ever met in across the galaxy. You know?
I think I stand up a little bit straighter and I'm like, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show them. And I'm gonna head back to
Can we do a fist bump?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you do a fist bump, I think that Hype goes, yeah, and then
I was gonna see if Slide could interrupt with a sit holding the sandwich, like she walks in and is like, I got you a bantha cheesesteak. Listen, this is your third today. Come on, Hypa. This can't be good for you. This can't be good for your heart. I mean, God knows what's in here.
well, bantha and sandwich, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the generality of our terms that really worries me sometimes. Is there something that Cutter like ingests besides just like oil or gas or electricity or
No, I think he plugs in, right? But I don't think he like eats.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. She's like,
Where
good.
were you going? Did you want something specific like?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if he did, she would have brought something for Cutter too. But if there's nothing particular that you would like ingest, I think she'd just be like, "Oh, Cutter, good news. I got us a job. We're gonna get an A-wing engine. We're gonna get some A-wing parts. We got to. It's for Ono. We're gonna fix it up. Fix it up so it looks good, but then we get to take at least half the pots, right?"
Nice. And I'm gonna fist bump Slide. Like, see, this is why we're such a good team, guys. You know?
Can
Like-
you imagine how fast you can go with a Starship engine on that bike of yours?
And I think, if this was an anime, right, it would just be like eyes wide, like drifting
We'll
off.
tear that thing apart.
Yeah.
Be mostly about holding it together because you would
Yeah.
definitely out speed past anyone.
Yeah, Slide looks slightly regretful. Maybe there's like an air of like, maybe this wasn't my brightest idea. But then she's like, yeah, listen, you are the fastest racer probably in the whole, was it it's not galaxy, but like the smaller, probably the
Sector?
fastest.
In the sector, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fastest racer, definitely the fastest racer in the sector.
I mean, I already am, but if I get that A-wing engine, that maybe I could be the fastest racer in the galaxy. Man.
Now we just got to make sure you're the still alive racer in the galaxy. That's the only part that I'm worried about. You got that.
Fastest racer in the galaxy. It just doesn't pay no attention to
Yeah.
the concept. He could die whatsoever.
Still alive.
Yeah.
And Cutter kind of leans over to Slide and says, "Does it matter? Do you still win the bet if the racer crosses the finish line first, whether they're dead or alive? I mean, we can get him across. He just might not be alive anymore."
We can we'll work on that. Let's work out a contingency, okay? We get there first. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're trading so many words here. Yes. And then you hold them up. Okay, we got it. Yeah, we'll get the bet. We'll get the bet for sure. But I miss him, so like stay alive for sentimental reasons, okay? We'll get the money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay.
And Hyper is already doodling on the back of a napkin, like like simple scroll of a swoop bike, and then just like a big bulky like engine speed lines going past it kind of thing. But it gives us 5 carks if we do say that's a bonding scene. I think that was a
Yeah,
nice bonding
for sure.
scene.
And I think Slide horned in on that. So
Yes, yeah,
5 to
exactly, yeah.
split between the 3 of you.
Cool. I am gonna take 1 and give away 2 to each of you.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you. Yeah, and if you even want to take one more, because you have less. Oh, okay, because you did it, so you get to determine. Because I was like to say I could give one of my carks to Cutter too, so that I have 7 instead.
Don't talk over the
Oh, no,
president.
Yeah, it's to be divvied up
Oh, right,
however I
right.
choose.
Yeah,
So I'm
right,
gonna
exactly.
exercise some presidential authority and say that you've got 8 carks and Kurt's only got 5.
Okay.
I'm just gonna arbitrarily use my arbitrary power as president to do
That's
that.
honestly, that's terrific.
Yeah.
I
A little
love
bit
that.
close to the edge.
Yeah.
We only break the rules to support each other.
All right. So looking at time, there is some end of session, very light end of session stuff and stars and wishes. So to make time for all of that, let that be our closing scene. On all's happy. You've stashed the kid Dodo, who I'll stick in our NPCs. Don't worry, Dodo is stashed with Max Rebo in the back office, which is probably, I imagine Spice is one of those things that kind of gets in the air a little bit. Like, so
Oh yeah. There's
pretty
like a
wild.
hookah type thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
very
Can't believe
hookah.
you've hotboxed my room with the records.
Exactly. Those records aren't affected by spice dust. It's fine. Cool. So let's do our experience these questions. There are 3 questions for the entire table, and then 2 questions for each individual swoop biker. And I understand that we just had an abbreviated session, so not all of these will easily apply. The first one is, did you clash with someone who threatened your people, your club, locals who matter to you, or your business? I feel like the answer there would be yes.
Yeah.
That was like the main plot. Did you add to the legend of your gang?
We are either going to make Womp Rat Tail a delicacy or, but yeah, no, we did do it. We held down Max Rebo, but like that was already, I guess, going to be part of our legacy.
Pretty
I
legend.
think we're in that point of like the first session one, like in Monster Dig, where it's like, did you learn anything about the hunters? And you're like, well, we just made the hunters. So yes, of course we learned everything about the hunters this session, right? Like,
Sure.
you could say yes, but it feels a cheap yes to me, basically.
I feel like if everyone were present, I would be more attuned to the cheap yes, but it's is XP. We'll say not yet, but you're on the doorstep of legend. Did you have a conflict with a rival gang or the law? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So does the tavern count as a rival gang, or does it have to be a swoop bike
Unmo's
gang?
Tavern. That's a great thing. I should probably rephrase that. So yeah, a rival. We'll just call that with a rival or the law. There we go. And then we'll go around and pose these 2 questions to each of you on individual. We will start with Cutter. Did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role or rank in the gang?
I think so. Narratively, just by being the doorman, but I think by threatening Dodo, and being the bad cop, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you support another member of the gang when they needed you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Then that's 4 XP for Cutter total. Slide. Did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role or rank in the gang?
Yeah, I talked a guy out of suing us and into smuggling. So
Exactly. And then did you support another member of the gang when they needed you?
actually, no, she was kind of on her own. I mean,
That's true.
I supported our general goal, but yeah, I
But
think
not
I
on
don't
an
know.
individual level. All right, so 3 XP for Slide. For Hyper, did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role or rank in the gang?
I think I did. Yeah.
And did you support another member of your gang when they needed you?
I don't think they needed me, but I did support another member of my gang. Yeah.
Okay. Well, 4 XP for Hyper. That concludes the mechanics section. We'll end up with some stars and wishes before we call it an afternoon/evening based on your time zone. Let's start off with wishes so we can end with stars. Wishes are any things you'd like to see in future sessions. Also could be need clarification or feedback on the playtest of the Cantina is very important to me. So I'd love any of those, good or bad. And as a reminder, friends, I am the son of a Marine Corps sergeant who became a high school principal. I am perfectly okay with critical feedback. I will not get defensive. I will only use it to improve. So who'd like to go first with wishes?
I'll go first with wishes, I guess. It's more kind of like a statement of intent or whatever, I guess, right? But like I am basically going to play Hyper as probably like well-meaning and not very serious, kind of like about anything, but like also a bit of an idiot and impulsive. And I would like to invite you, and I'll say this again in the next session, but to not take me seriously despite the fact that I'm the president, to ignore what I tell you because I think it's right. Like if you think that it's actually like, oh no, Unmo came at us, so we got to go twice as hard back at them, for example, like right, like, you know, do it right. Like I as a player do not, like Rich has played in a game with me. You could also, for example, like I know for a fact that if I was playing the slide character, I would be instantly like, how do I rip off this idiot and leave him to carry the can, right? Like, so feel free to.
Okay, so like think about whatever your personal goals are and be
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I'm giving license to do whatever you like to Hyper, because like he will probably, like, you know, from a character angle, he probably has little motivation to do such things. It's just that he would also maybe not think about how he might hurt you anyways, right? Like so yeah. So yeah, feel free to shoot me in the back even. Who knows? You know, go as dark as you like. I'm fine. I'll be okay.
Will can. He's a
Yeah.
Delta Green fan. He
Yeah.
can go dark.
If you want, honestly, like if that's what you want, like I would rather have you do dark stuff, like definitely flag that, because we're playing criminals. I'm always like, I'm so invested in this. Like I love a like that was probably her intention when she started, but I would love the like I'm trying to do that and I just can't do that.
I mean, maybe you'd be a better president than this idiot, right? Like, and
Yeah.
you're about to get me an engine that could be sabotaged, right? And the only way you can win is when beat me in a race or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah.
My goal is to play someone who's probably more of an idiot than an evil kind of thing. But you know.
But like maybe that's what we're missing as a like a heartless group of criminals. Like I really thought that was kind of cool that he was like for as much as we're like Hyper is a bad president, I guess that's sort of like a star, was like I like that he's oddly enough leading in a more inspirational way by being like, listen, we can do something better for you. Aim better, Dodo. Like he's weird. Like I would love it to see him like oddly enough use his presidential skills in like a cool way.
He's a charismatic idiot, I think. You know. And then, you know, in terms of an actual wish, I would say I'd love to get some proper schemes going on, some thievery from the Imperials, or like a rival gang cornering in on our territory, or maybe like, you know, a contact like hires us to do something to, you know, like spy on somebody or steal something or whatever, and maybe they're part of the Rebel Alliance or something, right? But like, I want to be shady criminals who are pretty much like low-level idiots, basically, as well.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you very much. Then who would like to go next with wishes?
I'm going to chime in on what Will just said. The A-wing that we just got from the Rebel Alliance very well could have something in it that we discover, and that could fulfill your wish. Yeah. far as wishes, I'm gonna go with the cheap one, which is that I can't wait to see what the other players are. I've had so much fun, seeing the two of you and the characters that you've come up with. I'm excited to see what Greg and Paul. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Have. Yeah.
Cool. Any expensive wishes since that was the cheap one?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then it is your turn, Danielle. What wishes did you have?
I think I definitely vibe with what you said about finding something in the smuggling. Like, I really enjoy doing that. I would love it. I can't wait till we get into like the businessy side of it. And yeah, I really like the bonding scene, so I'd love to. I can't wait till like we hang out and kind of figure out how everybody connects. I guess a wish is that, like, for you, Rich, just like if there's anything connected to like her old acts, I just kind of like left that sort of vague. So if you ever want to pull anything in about that, totally feel free. Or like, oh yeah, actually, or whoever it is she owes money to, maybe I could make an NPC. I guess I just kind of want to have her mainly be like, that's her sort of personal goal, is like, how can I do something about this?
For sure. I 100% want to use that. Oh, did you I'd asked
Right.
Stephen and Danielle, both of you, if you could come up. So did you have a name for a brother?
I think Jace is too already used, I feel like. But is Cassio too close to Cassian? Or like,
If I weren't just watching, I would say no problem, but yeah, that's a little
yeah.
Sorry.
So I'll do
Vass.
Vass. Yeah, I like that.
Vass?
Vass. Yeah,
Like
Vass.
2 A's, Vass, or VASS? What do you think?
VASS.
Okay, great. I will put him in our NPCs. Fantastic. Then before we jump to stars, just wanted to, Stephen, did you have a name for mentor?
I did. I put it in the NPCs on B36. Amara Malkra. And I have to admit, I got a little bit frustrated. I spent a good deal of time looking for a good older, female biker, and it's very hard to find that kind of thing on Pinterest.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not
That's
wrong.
specific. Yeah, I was just trying to find some fantasy older woman art for a different game, and I was like, it's wild how women don't exist past 35 in Pinterest.
In Pinterest, in movies, in TV shows, that's
Real
when you
life.
get Jennifer Lawrence to play a 40-year-old, right, or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's sadly true. Cool. Let's jump over to stars. So what stars did you have to hand out? Danielle, you went last with wishes, so you get to go first with stars.
Ooh. I just really like your guys' characters, like what you were saying, Stephen. It feels like we already have a team, and I think that's your guys' vivid character choices. I really like Hyper as the charismatic idiot, like what you said, and then Cutter's I was just gonna smash their window in with a rock. Like, that was terrific. And then Hyper being like, thumbs up when Slide's trying to get his attention, like, hey, wait up. He's like, oh yeah, I'm having a great time. Yeah, I'm also vibing. Was terrific and really did that. And then Starter Rich, it's always fun to interact with your NPCs, and it gives you great, like, I wasn't initially even going to ask about smuggling stuff, and then you were talking about tech and stuff, and I'm like, yes, my character thing to do. So I gotta, yes, exactly. So I appreciate that, and that was like a lot of fun. So it really helped me feel in character as somebody who's doing the one-on-one face stuff with people. So I'm excited for the stories we're going to tell.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Stephen, you're up next. What stars did you have?
I enjoyed the fact that we have like this grounded cantina that this whole session kind of came out of. I like that, we had regulars like I think it's Unma, who stepped in, and I'm sorry, it's Pashina. Pashina, who basically, Slide had to talk their way around because it was some serious business. We have like an office, and we have Max Rebo, and just all that interaction with everybody just made it super juicy, and it was really nice. So
Cool. Thank you, Stephen. Will, bring us home.
I love that Slide has gone so well along with the idea of me delegating all responsibility to them. I like the sort of slightly Machiavellian kind of like person behind the throne, right? Who actually has an eye for numbers and everything like that. And that Cutter is, I did enjoy the, when he puts one of yours in the hospital, you put two of his in the morgue kind of approach, right? Like,
Yeah,
she's
the
right.
Vespa way.
Yeah, she's right. Yeah. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of the characters and doing more of this stuff. And the canteen I think is working already pretty cool. I think in terms of making the cantina mechanics, particularly like about the atmosphere and the things like that, it would maybe be good to have Unmo's maybe be a bit more like connected or something, because at the moment he feels like he runs a nice cantina and he has a music session and he's kind of low, like he doesn't have a group of thugs. Like we're basically a group of thugs who have a crappy bar, right? Like he's a guy who's got a nice bar and no thugs. So like if it was kind of like Black Sun buys an interest in it or whatever, right? Like we'd have or like something about our audiences, maybe like like the spaces coming in or something like that. Like it would go better with the two halves of the game, So I guess my star is that I'm interested in it. I like it, with the caveat of I think that context can make it more interesting to make the canteen a better place to improve your atmosphere and things like that, as opposed to it just be basically a front for your crime, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you for that suggestion. I will just take it. Cool.
I like that with the cantina, our vibe like impacts things mechanically. Like I like how now I'm gonna be like, all right, we're gonna be trying to rehabilitate Womp Rat as a thing, as that's our line. But I like that. Yeah, the weird seedy vibe and leaning into that, keeping Max a hostage in the back room with all the spice. The focus on the cantina, I think, super helps establish us. I enjoyed it. It felt it felt very natural. Like I was like, oh right, that's right. We're play testing this. We have to give feedback. It just felt like, of course, this is part of the game.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you all so much. This has been super helpful for me, and I agree it's been really fun to see where we're going to take things. So with that, I'll bring the recording to a close. Thank you all.